Simone, what we gonna do, baby? We just gonna continue being miserable, or what? How you gonna handle it? Cause you're miserable. You are absolutely miserable. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for season 8, episode 2 of Married to Medicine. Listen, coming from one old major grudge holder, baby, I hold grudges. I know I do, child. It is what it is. It's one of my little things that I do not and have never forgiven well. I'm not good at it. I'm not good at forgiving and letting it go. I'm just not. Okay, it is what it is. I ain't gonna sit here and tell you no lie. Yes, I've forgiven. I've forgiven people in life naturally. I've been around for a long time. I've forgiven people, but it's been my experience that when you forgive people, they tend to come back and do something worse. So the longer I'm here, the more I see I'm right about that. It happens. Sometimes it takes a longer period of time, but when you forgive people, they're out of order, when they're completely out of order, to the point where you literally got to break friendship with them, generally, if you forge that back together, they generally end up violating again. But whatever. My thing is, when you decide to break friendship and you're going to hold a grudge, you need to be in a space where you ain't miserable. Because what is the point that you're making if you're miserable? Why break friendship with a person if you're going to miss the friendship? It doesn't make sense. Miserable in, miserable out. You got to decide which one makes me more miserable. Are you more miserable with Jackie or without Jackie? I say you're more miserable without her. You're miserable as hell. It's all over your face. And she miserable. Now, both you heifers need to get it together. Anyway, let's talk about it. That damn Toya went from the one part of the party, she over there to make the women miserable. Then she carried her monkey ass over there, and now she making the men miserable. You telling the husbands about their wives out of order. You was out of order in one spot, and now you out of order in another spot, to the point where Eugene had to get up and tell her, let's go for a walk. And there was cameras on. I know he wanted to shake her and tell her, shut your goddamn ass up. He took her up on the bus. I hope he got her in there. That's just how she act. She just don't know how to conduct herself. She's just ridiculous and drunked up. And she ain't ate. It looked like she didn't eat. And then she was hungry. That's why she's sucking up them crabs like that. She's hungry. And she didn't eat. And she done got drunk. And she just acted out. But he took her and took her for a walk. But we get down to the situation. Simone. This is just more the same. Simone's over there. You told Jackie you're angry because she compared your friendship to the friendship that she has with Heavenly, and that hurts your feelings. Because you want her to like you more. Well, how 7 years old of you, Simone? And when I sat over there, I'm like, okay. I mean, I get that your feelings are hurt. But do you get that you're not 7 years old? No, she's my friend. She's more my friend than she is your friend. If you don't sit your ass down. And I have to tell you, as much as I love Simone, and y'all know I do. Y'all know how I am about Married to Medicine. I love Simone. I love Jackie. I love Quad. I learned to like Heavenly. I love Contessa and Scott. I love Cecil. There's only been a few people that I don't really care for on here, and y'all know I couldn't stand Mariah and her and Shoot Lucy. I couldn't do them, and literally, we're just going to accept Jackie's husband because he's Jackie's husband, but he could go, really. I mean, Curtis is. I gotta love Curtis because I love Jackie. So that's all. No, I don't. No, I don't. We'll accept Curtis because I love Jackie. I love me some Dr. Jackie. You know. I like Damon. I do like Damon. Um, and like I said, I learned to like Heavenly because at first I didn't like Heavenly, and then I had to sit back and really watch Heavenly. And I'm like, I get it. I don't like everything she does, but Heavenly as a person, okay, you know, Heavenly, she's interesting, you know, and more so Heavenly not on the show. Now, you know, I don't usually deal with the not on the show persona, but Heavenly not on the show, I can deal with a little better than on the show. And she ain't too far off because she's just a mess. You know, Heavenly's a mess. We would be knucking and bucking and knocking heads. We would, but we would get along, you know. But yeah, this shit's crazy. Like, Simone, stop it. And I can honestly say, the way you're acting right now, Simone, girl, I wouldn't even want to be your friend. I would take the 20 years and throw them right in the trash. Because if you telling me some shit, which from the voice of your 7-year-old inner self, girl, I would throw you and that 7-year-old friendship of 20 years in the goddamn garbage. Because I wouldn't deal with that. I wouldn't even see, I'm not going to deal with that in my grown adult life. That's crazy. And you sound crazy. See, there's certain things that when you become an adult, even if you feel them, you don't voice them. Shit like that, you don't voice. You don't voice. Because it looks crazy. It looks crazy. And I say it all the time. Listen, I'm going to put her on out here. My god sister, honey. My god sister has no problem right now. I am 49. She is 59. She has no problem voicing. When you were younger, it was like you was coming trying to take my place. You was trying to take my spot. Take your spot. And I thought it was crazy when she used to voice it when I was 15. And I think it's equally as crazy. Now, I think it's actually even more crazy now that she voices that bullshit and I'm 49. And she still say it and she means it just as much today as she did when I was 8 and 7 and 12 and 15. You was trying to take my spot. Take your spot. And see, that's a whole nother video. I could do a whole nother video about it. Because one, I never did that. That's her own insecurity. And the fact that, because I didn't need your spot. Never needed your spot. Whatever that is. Your mother is my godmother. I wasn't missing anything. I have my own mother. And my godmother could never replace my mother. So she had her own spot. My godmother had her own special spot. She was my godmother. And she's my cousin at the same time. So she had 2 spots. She's my cousin, like you my cousin. Like I gave you a special spot as the god sister. I don't even have any sisters. So it used to be crazy. It blew my mind when I was a young person. I thought it was crazy. And when she says it now, because I could pull her up on this phone right now and she would voice that to y'all and she would see nothing wrong with that at 59 years of age. And I think that is the craziest shit ever. I tell her, you know, ain't no issue. I say it, I don't care if it ever offends her. Girl, you sound fucking crazy. That's crazy. You did. You was trying to take my spot. Crazy. So that's what I think of immediately. That's what came to mind for me when every time I hear it. And Simone has said it about 12 times in the past 2 years on this show. my friendship with her and my friend. You sound crazy. Look in the mirror and say that shit, Simone, and look back at yourself and then say these words. But you sound crazy. I'm telling you all, honestly, about a friendship. I would, if I were Jackie, I would throw that friendship in the garbage. Now, I can't throw my god sister in the garbage because one, she's my god sister, and two, she actually is my cousin. We are actually related, so I can't really throw her in the garbage. But child, there's certain things I don't even approach with her. I'll be like, girl, crazy, the fuck on. That's crazy. I wouldn't dare. And the fact of how deeply she's gone with this. They've not spoken in a year. They've not dealt with each other in a year. And this is what you talking about? Because she got a friendship with another person where all three of y'all were friends at a point. And you got jealous of the friendship that she forged with this other person. If I was Jackie, I would literally let Simone write herself off and we wouldn't have to discuss this anymore. And hopefully they would just be, well, I ain't going to tell you that I wouldn't do it for a storyline for the show. But when the show wrapped, so would me and Simone. Now, I'm just being honest. I would wrap that up. I wouldn't even go no further with Simone. I'd throw her ass in the trash. That's that. And I still love the both of them. But I would throw her ass in the trash. Moving on. Jackie. Jackie said, you didn't have my back when it came to Buffy. You didn't correct Buffy. I can't even get mad at Jackie for that. And you know why? Because Simone is so goddamn shady and so goddamn petty with while she mad at Jackie. You didn't. You didn't. You didn't. You sat because you was mad at her. So no, you didn't have her back like you normally would have. And I'm sure Jackie feels that. But again, Jackie being stubborn too. But you are guilty as charged. You're guilty as charged. You wanted to hurt her because you were hurt behind what was going on with her and Heavenly. Garbage. Ridiculous. And then Heavenly, you keep resurging into this argument. You still all in your feelings about this stuff about Cecil. And that thing, y'all ain't never going to fully move past that. You know why? Because you feel a certain type of way. And you really felt, this is one of the places where me and Heavenly would bump heads. Heavenly felt totally in her right, talking that shit to Cecil that she talked to Cecil. And then when Cecil responded back, she felt like Cecil did something wrong to her. But you wrong, Heavenly. You wrong. And you living in a world, but he's a man, but he's a man, but he's a man. Girl, ain't nobody living by them rules but you. Ain't nobody living by them rules but you. So I don't know when it comes to you and Simone. Y'all ain't never going to move past that because y'all ain't never going to see eye to eye on that. You violated her friendship by taking information that y'all had in personal conversation and hurling it at her husband in an internet battle. And if you really feel the way that you feel about men should be arguing with women, you ain't had no business approaching that man in an argument. You were out of order to approach her husband in a full-on battle. If you don't feel like men should argue back with you, you ain't got no goddamn business arguing with men, period. And how hyped she got up and how she literally cussed somebody. You were doing this thing if y'all were trying to fix the friendships and all that, and you literally cussed that girl out. You literally got all hyped up, jumped all up in her face and everything, and cussed her out, called Cecil a bunch of names again, called her names. I thought y'all squashed that a year ago. So how did it get just as hot? You questioned his manhood and all that. That's truly how you feel about him. Heavenly. So no, you ain't never going to let it go because that is the way you feel. You feel like Cecil is less than a man, and that's why you feel like you could talk that shit that you talk to and about Cecil, and as many, and that's still her husband. So every time you do it, she's going to get y'all going to get at it, and I don't blame her. And I don't blame her. And guess what? Your husband's only standing by you because he's supposed to stand by you, but he don't like what you did, and that's why he took you over there and he checked your ass, and he told you to shut what they call the fuck up. He didn't do it in front of the people, but Damon took you right over there to the side and told your disrespectful ass to shut what they call the fuck up, cause you wrong. You wrong. You wrong. I ain't gonna say you know, it's fine for you to feel like men shouldn't argue with women, and that's cool. You got two sons, go on over there and raise them like that, and then hold to it. And whenever they run into a little situation with a female, shut your ass up and make sure your boys don't argue back with the female when they run into a female like you, because it's gonna happen. I promise you. One of your boys will run, if not both, will run into a girl with a raggedy mouth like yours, and she'll try him and she'll test him, and then we'll see what you raised. We'll see, do you have the men that can swallow it? Like you want Cecil to swallow the shit that you say? We'll see, won't we? I promise you, that will visit you at some point, girl. And you know, I'm good with you, Dr. Heavenly, but I promise you, you are a woman with that bullshit that bore two boys. I promise you, that shit you doing, that shit going to visit you right at your steps. And I want to see, I would love to be a fly on the wall to see how you handle it when some raggedy heifer roll that shit up on your boys and see if you still feel the same way. Because the way, and again, no, he shouldn't go real hard. Like he ain't got him in this jumping up in your face and stuff, but he didn't. It was a battle of words. It was a battle of words. You didn't give Cecil no more than Cecil gave you. But you felt like Cecil should have swallowed it all. Girl, no, I ain't gonna never agree to that. I ain't never gonna agree to that. But, yeah. And I think your husband done had enough of it, and he just got to take whatever stance is. But he told you to shut your ass up. Anyway, moving on. And what you need to do is stop putting Damon in the middle of it. Because what you're going to do is ruin the friendship between Damon and Cecil, is what you're going to do. And you need to stop. You really need to stop, because what is it about, really? Anyway, moving on. You ain't got to respect Cecil, but starting shit for what? Moving on. Toya moved, we found she moved her kids. They were in the school in the new little area. I really just ran on for a long time with that mess, didn't I? Just over there, that's all right, whatever. It's my review, so, you know, if you're still here, let's keep talking. But I really went up on a soapbox on that, didn't I? Anyway, Toya moved the kids out of the school that they were in because there weren't very many children that looked like them. So she didn't feel like they were actually being taught about the social unrest and the state of the world as they should be. So she, you know, made an adult decision, and I'm behind you on this one, Toy. This one, that, you know, I very rarely agree with Miss Toya, honey. Very rarely. Now, one, I didn't agree with the conversation of the boys of how much she paid for them to go to the school and all that. Like, fuck all that. Nobody cares. They didn't need all that. They're little kids, and that's little kid stuff. That's not little kid stuff. That's grown up stuff. So no, I'm not having a conversation about the tuition with my boys, my young boys. That ain't even their issue. That's a conversation for you to have with Eugene. I don't care if you didn't pay nothing. I wouldn't care if it was public school and it didn't cost a dime. What you say, don't take your ass down there to that schoolhouse and be showing out. Don't carry your ass down there and embarrass me and have me having to come down there about you not acting right. I don't give a damn about the price. That's adult shit. That ain't got nothing to do with them. So you always mess it up, Toya. But again, I agree with the reason where you moved them out to a school that would give them everything they need to become young black men. effective young black men that are aware of their surroundings, the for real about their surroundings, not the padded wall version. So I definitely agree with you on that. Scott and Contessa, they're opening up their own practice together. Mistake. Mistake. Big mistake. I don't even know how y'all got to that when we sit and see y'all are still going through it. Y'all are going through it as a couple, so why the hell are y'all opening a business together? Mistake. If there's no way you have a question about the relationship and opening a business together. That is just a dumb decision. But anyway, they're still going through it. Um, Scott doesn't want to continue with counseling because he feels like they're just going over the same stuff. And it keeps coming back up. They keep resurging the same stuff. That means it's not fixed, Scott. If it was fixed, it wouldn't come up. It wouldn't even come up in conversation. So it wouldn't matter where y'all were sitting. Church, the counselor's office, the bedroom, down in the kitchen, in the basement, over at the amusement park. It wouldn't come up because it would be fixed. You remember back when y'all didn't have those problems? That stuff didn't come up. It didn't exist. If it was fixed, you'd be back to that. It wouldn't come up. I felt. Did y'all feel? I felt like Scott was kind of like downplaying the issues. Did y'all feel that? I like Scott and Contessa, but yeah, I felt like Scott's downplaying the issues. What's going on, Scott? Something ain't right. But that business, that's dumb. That's a bad decision. Moving on. Funky, 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 funky. Funky Dineva showed up over Dr. Heavenly's. Dr. Heavenly did the work on Funky Dineva's mouth, and I thought this was a good scene because she got the check. That it was a good segue for her to actually. It did a couple things. It actually allowed her friend to actually have some time on the show, which was, I'm sure, it was a big deal for Funky. Funky does what I do, so it was a big deal for him to appear on the show. So that was great. That was really cool. Dr. Heavenly for helping that to actually happen. Congratulations to Funky Dineva for, getting onto the show. And it was a nice segue into her being able to show her business, show a client, and getting personal feedback from a client. And also, it was a nice segue to actually for us to see like the precautions that she has to take and what she's doing in her office right now as pertains to COVID and the whole pandemic thing. Because they actually had a little conversation about the precautions and everything and how things have changed and what extra work is actually put in. So that was a good segue. That little spot covered so much ground. It was done very, very well. And definitely I have seen, because I follow Funky Dineva, that he is very happy with his dental work that Dr. Heavenly did. And it looks good. It really does look good. And it made him, if you see Funky now, you could tell he feels good about what was actually done. And he's actually spoken on it. And I just see it in his personality and his whole being. He's real happy with the work he got done. Looks good. Anyway, moving on. Anila and Karan. I got my eye on Anila. She busy. She busy. She's perfect friend for Toya. What she's gonna do with this group of ladies, I don't know. I don't know if we need another Toya. But yes, she is Toya. Her and Toya, perfect for friends. But she was into like fashion forecasting and that. Had a good job in New York. Then she ended up hooking up with Karan and she, became a housewife and now she blogs. She basically blogs fashion and whatnot. She's a blogger and a housewife at this point. She Toya. I'm just going to leave that there for now. But I see you. And I got my eye on you. All four of them. Moving on. Graduation party. So, of course, we're in pandemic. So, for Simone's youngest boy. He graduated, Gary go off to college. She did this really, I thought it was very clever. She did this graduation party, was scaled down naturally, but it was done in her office parking lot. It was barbecue and they had ice cream truck and all that. Really cool, really lighthearted, not overdone. Very Simone in the way that they run their life. I thought it was cute for Michael. I thought it was really, really cute. Then Miles was there as well. Very cute. Very cute family gathering. Jackie was not invited. And that really hurt Jackie. It really did. It hurt Jackie. But not only did it hurt Jackie, it hurt Simone. You hurt yourself. You hurt yourself. See, it's that double-edged sword. Because you ain't good with the breakup of the friendship. You're not. Wouldn't even been a conversation with me. I'd have been, the hell. But no, you hurt her just as much as it hurt you, because you was missing her being there. It's pathetic. You need to go fix your friendship. You need to cut out this bullshit and go fix your friendship, because I think you're more miserable without her than you were being with her. So you need to go fix it and cut that shit out. Anyway, last scene, Heavenly goes over. Well, Simone comes over to Heavenly's house, so that's where she's starting. She will start with Heavenly. She'll fix that. Then she will talk to Jackie. Her and Heavenly got some good time in. It was honest conversation and an honest fix with no interruptions. It's just the two of them. So you can get down to it. Sort the bullshit out and cut it out. And Heavenly told her, okay, girl, we good. Now, I'm not never going to go visit that. And I believe that Dr. Daddy had a little more conversation with her. We'll cut this shit out. Because her whole demeanor was different. So good job, Heavenly. But she told her, she said, and I thought it was big of her, because I know that it hurt her. Because Heavenly is that heifer is very, very, she's stubborn as hell and mean as a damn black rattlesnake. And she told her, she said, I'm going to go there right now, and then I ain't never going to revisit again. Bingo. Got it all out, said what you had to say. And I said, and I think you could be fine, but don't visit it again. You know? And I believe Dr. Damon has something to do with that. You know, but that's why you're married. When you're married, it is, y'all don't be the same. You be opposites. And it works. And their marriage works. They're opposite, totally opposite. But anyway, I was happy at that. That scene made me happy. And she told her, girl, you're going to have to call Jackie. Put the gauntlet. Girl, throw the gauntlet down. You got to call Jackie. Go call Jackie and get this ball rolling. Get this shit fixed. And I think it could be fixed. I probably wouldn't want to fix it with Simone, but I think it would be fixed. And I'll be glad when it is, Chuck, because I'm sick of them two being at odds. I don't like it. I don't like it. And they're not at the point where neither one of them really want to be without the other one. So fix the shit and let's move on. Anyway, and then a little nasty dog, honey. I said, Lord have mercy. He's pretty, little dog. But he done went over there and got it. Was that a dead squirrel he carrying around? I said, y'all beat his ass, honey. They brought that old dead-ass squirrel up on the porch. So they running from him. I said, Lord have mercy. A mess. Anyway, I done talked long enough. I'm out of here, and I'll see y'all next week. Married to Medicine. Y'all know I love this show. Anyway, later, y'all.